Alright, welcome back everyone, and let's get straight into it because in today's video, we're going to be discussing what happened in Senatobia, Mississippi at a Walmart where police responded to a possible shoplifting call, an alleged shoplifting call, let me say it like that, and this ended up in the death of a 1-year-old boy named Kohen Wiley. Now, the article that brought this to my attention, it was on Yahoo News. It says police kill 1-year-old boy by shooting into the car of suspected shoplifters. This was a young boy that they killed, and the article says this week police in Mississippi shot into a car trying to stop a fleeing suspect. In the process, they killed a 1-year-old boy and put his aunt in the hospital. The scenario is tragic. It's especially galling because in the case, what brought officers to the scene in the first place was a report of stolen diapers. Yes, people, this young boy lost his life over diapers. Okay. On Sunday, police responded to a call about a possible shoplifter in a Walmart in Senatobia, Mississippi. Officers said they encountered two adults and a small child running from the building and getting into a vehicle, according to Fox 13. Cell phone footage from the scene shows officers running after the suspect on foot as they drove away. Authorities said officers attempted to stop the vehicle, but the driver drove in the direction of the officers and nearly struck one of them. An officer then fired their weapon, according to the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, and the vehicle fled the scene. The car went to the local hospital where 1-year-old Kohen Wiley was pronounced dead. According to Wiley's family, the other occupants of the car were his mother and aunt, the aunt was admitted in critical condition. A witness later claimed she saw two women leaving the store, one holding the child, the other holding a box of diapers. It's not yet clear if they were actually shoplifting. That's besides the point. Even if they were, pilfering diapers hardly permits an armed response. In Mississippi, shoplifting is a misdemeanor, punishable by a fine or a few months in jail. Certainly nothing that justifies deadly force. Investigators claim suspects drove their car at one of the officers, but so far there is no evidence to either confirm or contradict that claim. Cell phone footage shows them driving away, but it does not show either the car swerving toward the officer or the shooting itself. Now, tragic situation is obviously because a 1-year-old child has lost their life. And judging by the public discourse, I never knew that people could be such monsters to go ahead and hear this and then start throwing blame, even without the facts. I'm not even gonna talk about this video as if they're fully innocent. I'm just talking about this video in the sense of like a 1-year-old child died for diapers. It's like unconfirmed whether or not they were actually shoplifting or not. Okay? I can't say whether they were or I can't say whether they weren't, but that doesn't justify taking anyone's life, yet alone a child, for diapers. How much are diapers? Like $20, $30? I'm talking about the big pack. The small packs are like what, $5, $10? Then you're 20, 30, even up to like 50. Let's say 50. The 50 is the max I've ever seen for diapers, to be honest with you. Or it's the max I can remember. And this is like, just like I said in the last video when we talked about Jameson, the dog who was shot while his owners were celebrating the Knicks NBA win. You know, this is one of those situations where we need the footage to get more context because I have so many questions, right? Because typically when I've been to Walmart, when I've seen someone get the police call to them at Walmart, the only time it happens in the front is if they're making a scene and don't want to leave. Other than that, they typically get taken to the office in the back, and as you're being shown the footage, the police are already on the way. So they keep you there waiting, asking these questions just up until the police arrive, and they take it from there. Please correct me down in the comments if I'm wrong, but that's the way I remember it. Now, the next thing that really sticks out to me is like, I'm not sure, like it doesn't say if Walmart employees are the ones who called the police. I feel like if the employees called the police, like I feel like it would have stated that, and it really makes me hope that this wasn't just some random person that said, "Hey, I'm gonna call the police and take it into my own hands," because the store themselves would have checked for receipts. Like, you know, they check your receipt as you're walking out if they feel anything's wrong. And typically, please correct me down in the comments if I'm wrong, but I just have so many questions. But again, the online discourse says she paid for it, and they did go straight to the hospital. Now, another point that some people may find controversial, but it, whatever. I don't condone shoplifting at all. I don't support stealing. I don't support looting. But if I see a woman or a girl pocketing sanitary products like pads or tampons, or if I see someone stealing like real food, not snacks, like actual food, like rice or bread, or if I see a grown man taking something like medicine, I don't have it within me to put them in jail. I don't have it within me to say something, because I understand there's a difference between something that you want and something that you need. It's a whole different story when it's like someone taking a phone or an air fryer, like, or like scanning an air fryer as a banana, or stealing a jacket that's clearly their size versus taking a jacket that's clearly way too tiny for you. You know, it's like, are you doing this? Are you doing this because you need to, or are you doing this because you want to? Because poverty does this to people. When you have social benefits being taken away, because these things are there for a reason, when you have people losing their jobs, you know, because you need money in this capitalistic society, it pushes people to do things like this. And if I saw someone less fortunate and it meant that someone could get fed, if it means that someone or their child gets to eat because I kept quiet, then so be it. Because I look at some of these Christians around who masquerade as children of God, who are just such devils. They would let a child starve if they could, just because the child didn't have any money. That's how a lot of these people are operating. Because if I see a young mother stealing diapers, I'm not saying nothing. I'm sorry. Hate me if you want, call me whatever you want. Like, I'm not I didn't see nothing. I didn't see nothing. I didn't hear nothing. And if she gets caught, I'm offering to pay. But even with all this being said, there's still nothing inside of, I don't care I don't care even if it's the largest Walmart in the world. There's nothing inside any Walmart that warrants someone being killed, that warrants someone being shot for taking it. Nothing in that Walmart is worth your life or anyone's life at all. Like shoplifting, like we just read, is a misdemeanor. This, like, it really makes me wonder why, first of all, we won't see any of the footage. So any of this footage outside of like them swerving into the cop, because the parking lot is recorded, right? So any of this footage of them swerving to the cop, we won't see until they're either found guilty or innocent. And you see, another thing that really, really irks me about the situation, regardless if she stole the diapers, right? How much are diapers? Like 20, $30. I honestly couldn't care if this $1 billion corporation lost a pack of diapers. You couldn't pay me enough money to care. In fact, they lost a 20, 30, $40 pack of diapers that they have insurance for. You can't convince me that this is a hill worth dying on, because a lot of us watching this video wouldn't even notice if $50 was taken from our bank accounts. Some people might, and that might be you, and that's totally fine. But a lot of us here watching this video wouldn't even notice. I don't get how somebody saw how somebody saw them leaving and decided to call the cops on them. Like, yeah, fine. Like, you think they're stealing, but is that what Walmart determined? Like, I want to see what because like they literally hire people for this. They hire people to stand at the door and check everyone's receipts in some places. Not all Walmarts, but some of them I've seen. Loss prevention is the name. They already have loss prevention. So why is a random person, assuming that the call wasn't made by the store, why is a random person acting as loss prevention? But yet again, like, I haven't seen any footage. There's been no statement from Walmart. And we won't see the footage until after the investigation. So I'll keep up with the story, and I'll try my best to go ahead and keep you guys updated. But I think I'm gonna end this one here for now. If anything comes up while I'm editing, I'll include it. But there needs to be a part two to this story. Like, the officer themselves have the officer hasn't been publicly identified. So no one really knows who did this, and it's being kept a secret because it's like, the way I'm reading it, it seems like an internal investigation. Because even in another article here that I'm seeing, it says anger mounts in Senatobia over killing of a 1-year-old boy, Kohen Wiley. So Senatobia, Mississippi, people scattered in a Walmart parking lot on Tuesday as law enforcement officers who were wearing tear gas masks lined up under the store's grocery side entrance, unleashed tear gas to the crowd that had gathered to protest the killing of 1-year-old Kohen Wiley 2 days earlier on June 14th.
People were gathered here, and law enforcement feels the need to do some crowd control and use their gas there. Our Lauren Turman, and I'm really hoping she's staying safe through all of this, as well as our camera people, Kim and Autumn. So it's just a lot going on at this very moment, lots of tension, a lot of emotions. As you can see, a 1-year-old child was killed in what police are saying was a shoplifting call. A lot of people wanting to know how a shoplifting call leads to a child dying and what the policies around that are. We weren't able to get a ton of, okay, Lauren is signaling now. Let's go ahead and hear from Lauren. Lauren, first, are you okay? And why, or, tell us leading up to why law enforcement deployed that gas there.
So, Pepper, we are backing up because we're starting to ingest a little bit of that tear gas at this point. But if you take a look over there, and Kim's going to try his best whilst remaining safe to make sure he gives you. Officers are kicking some of those pellets around, trying to clear people out of this area. You can see some of the gentlemen over there having masks on. Obviously, a lot of people, as you heard, were crowded around this Walmart, as you said on Sunday. That is where the shooting happened. And many of people were trying to make sure they were advocating for the Senatobia community, for the greater Mississippi community, and particular, they tell me, for Black communities. Now, I apologize again. We're trying to back as far away as possible because the tear gas is slowly but surely moving in our direction. But you can see plenty of people are scattered around this Walmart trying to make sure they are remaining as safe as possible. People have been telling me all day today, excuse me, sir, people have been telling me all day today that they are trying as much as possible to keep one another safe. Excuse me. And they are trying to make sure that they are doing their job. Now, we are as quickly as possible moving away from all of this. You can hear my voice is getting harder and harder to talk about all of this. But people are clearing from this area, holding one another. I saw a couple of people interlocking arms, trying to get each other as far away from this area as possible. You can see these gentlemen here, they've got their masks tied, trying to put some shirts over their face and putting it as trying to protect themselves as much as possible in this incident. Now, a lot of the people here came from City Hall, as you saw earlier, went to the Tate County Courthouse, and then came to the Walmart where the shooting happened. But it is getting much more difficult, excuse me, to talk out here. And so we're going to send it back to you so we can get safe.
In a quote, it needs to stop. So it says, Shirley Harden, who lives in nearby Como, Mississippi, said poor relations between residents and Senatobia police goes back years. So she pointed out Senatobia police's arrest of an 11-year-old boy urinating outside a jail in 2024. Like, King J 1233, thank you for the follow. So, like, is this, like, surely there's bigger things in the city to worry about rather than this. Every time I read something about them, like, it makes sense why people hate them. Like, when I was young, I used to be for the police. I wanted to be a police officer when I was younger. And then I met my first corrupt cop, and I was like, oh, okay. Then I met my second, my third, my fourth, my fifth, my sixth, it just didn't stop. I was like, fuck this. That is not what I want to become like, honestly, because all of them have the same track record. They all started good, and there was a twist at some point. I get like not all cops are bad, but shit like this can't continue. Let me know what you think down in the comments below.